What about the Lubavitcher Rebbe? You met with the Lubavitcher Rebbe?
Many times.
Okay, let's get it. Okay, so we're going to show a picture of the Lubavitcher Rebbe here. Tell us about your meeting. When was the first time you were at the Lubavitcher Rebbe? Do you remember?
Several times. I got broadcast from Rabbi Castell. I got involved with Rabbi Simpson in 1970, and I got involved with Rabbi 70, 71. I got involved with Rabbi Castell 70, 71, and he's still involved with the youth movement in Lubavitch.
And they brought you to the Lubavitch Rebbe, or you waited in line?
I got involved with the Lubavitch Rabbi.
What did he tell you, the Lubavitch Rebbe?
He gave me all different brachas, number one. Number two, I got involved with him many times because I went to the Farbrengen. One time I went to the Farbrengen, there was a man back of me, looked like an old man in the 50s. Old, but looks like 75 with a light white beard. So we were going for the brachas. I asked Rabbi Schneerson, because he knows me all these times I went to see him. I said, there's a man back of me who had the possibility we'll get married if you give him a bracha. So he stayed with him 5 minutes. He usually doesn't stay that long. And he convinced the guy to marry this girl. You're not getting younger, you're getting older. So what did he do? He got the bracha, he ran to the buzz where the woman is on the buzz, make sure my buzz wasn't being told away. And he ran to the buzz and he says, we have to get married because the Rebbe gave us the bracha and he told us we must get married. So Baruch Hashem, I went to his chasana, I went to his daughter's chasana. They both made aliyah to Israel, the family, which is good. That's number one. That was the Baba Rebbe and the Lubavitcher Rebbe. I got involved with J.J. Hecht. He was around the release programs. Then I was involved with a place called the Akiva Clubs, the Jewish Orthodox Jewish teachers. I was in charge of the Akiva Club. They paid a minimum, but they treat you like a slave. They expect a lot of you. But I appreciate the respect, and I went to the school system. I was involved with the high school, the junior high schools.
You had a Wednesday program, didn't you, at the PS 225? I remember you used to have a bus that picked up kids.
I had a dozen programs. I had release programs, over a dozen. I had it in all the different communities. I had one May Yeshiva. I had one next door around the corner, Rabbi Bam's Shul, Young Israel. And I had one in Big Miller Shul.
So you brought the kids to these shuls for the release program?
Yeah, I had people doing that for me. I got involved with the May Yeshiva. I got involved with Chaim Berlin. I got involved with Torah Das.
Hold on, Chaim Berlin. Let me see, I have Rabbi Schachter's picture here somewhere.
I see we're very, very well prepared.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so talk about, so you said Chaim Berlin.
I have a program.
Okay, go.
I had a study program in Chaim Berlin. I picked up 4 young men, and they went to Brighton Beach to a program I had in 253, I believe.
Before, may I pause you just a minute? We'll come back to tell us if you had a meeting with Rabbi Aaron Schachter.
Schachter I met because we had a program there. We had a Russian yeshiva over there, and I put many Russian kids in that yeshiva. Rabbi Bragg. Rabbi Bragg is Rabbi Victor Miller's son-in-law. So I put children into that program.
At Chaim Berlin.
Yeah, also, I took 4 people out of Chaim Berlin for years to bring them to Rabbi Rimler Shul. Because around 2 blocks away, there was a public school, not too far from where you live.
Yeah.
There's a public school there, and these 4 people picked up these kids. They worked them over an hour and a half, and we gave them I supplied the refreshments, and I picked the guys up for Chaim Berlin, and I dropped them off.
What did Rabbi Aaron Schachter, how many times did you meet with Rabbi Aaron Schachter?
Aaron Schachter had a program in Chaim Berlin, so I brought many Russian kids to that yeshiva, and I took 4 steady yeshiva boys out of yeshiva to put them in Rabbi Rimler Shul. And the program ran for years.
Now, what about Rabbi Schachter? You said you met with him personally?
Many times.
What did he say to you?
He gave me brachas, shalaka. Most of the rabbis, the same word, shalaka, which means you should have a shalaka. And with Rabbi Schachter, we had a Russian yeshiva, and I got 4 children out. And that's why I put a Pesach sheet in the Chaim Berlin elementary school, which was good, and it ran good. The program ran good. Number one. Then I opened up high school program and junior high school program because I was involved in the high schools and the junior high schools and the public schools. So the high schools, I gave out awards to the high school faculty, junior high school faculty, and the public school faculty because I'm a licensed principal in the board of education, so they gave me a little covet. So they let me go into the schools. I recruited Jewish teachers to do the job. And I gave them plaques. I never charged them $1. I gave them tables, whatever they wanted, and they gave me their permission to use their names to start a program, which I had rabbis, I had people, I had students from the Mayor, Chaim Berlin, Torah Dot, all working with me. So what did I do? This guy, Rabbi Dubav, he's a Lubavitch guy. I got involved with J.J. Heck years ago. I got involved with other guys around this, but the best unique guy was Rabbi Dubav. His mother, it was head of the Jewish Community Council as a secretary of Borough Park. I know that. I know Borough Park because I had programs in Borough Park. So Dubav liked what I did, and the first time Lubavitch opened high schools for me, and junior high schools for me, and public schools. So I had it easy. They gave me their people.
This is all the release programs.
I had over a dozen release programs.
Now, what, at the same time, all this was occurring while you had operations going at 3044 Coney Island Avenue, right? The Beth Shifra building, right?
You will read the programs I ran.
Well, let's talk about, this was at the main building itself, was on the corner, where was this? This was on the corner?
Coney Island, Neptune Avenue.
Right in the corner there.
The big reason why I got that is because a block away was a missionary house, grabbed over 144 Jews.
Okay, so what were the activities you held there? You had regular...
You can read it.
Well, I want you to talk about it.
No, you have to read it first, what Rabbi Kahani read.
Okay, so let's I'm going to read this letter here. So first of all, before Kahana, how did you meet up with Rabbi Meir Kahana?
I let anybody use my place for no charge. Any organization want to come in, no charge. Everything's free. I had a shul there, I had an early minyan there, Rosh Hashanah had 2 minions, but between you and me, it was superb.
And what about Rabbi Meir Kahana? How did you meet up with him? Did he come?
Meir Kahani heard what I did. One of the main people of Kahani was divorced. And a woman. My kids went to Manas Mandel's yeshiva, Brooklyn Yeshiva. My son and my daughter went to Brooklyn Yeshiva. So this woman who got divorced had a 5-year-old daughter. And she asked me if I could put this kid in Brooklyn Yeshiva. So Manas Mandel was one of my rabbis who gave me his time. He was a tzaddik. And I told him, because the majority of the yeshiva in them days didn't take divorced people. They gave excuses, but they didn't take them in. And he did me a favor. He put this kid in. And I paid for the beginning. And it was good. Everything worked out good. And the kid graduated, and now she's married, and she lives in Monsey. She has several kids.
So let's go back to Meir Kahana. How did you meet Meir Kahana?
Meir Kahana knew that I boxed a little bit. He knew I do mitzvahs. He knew he got involved with Brighton Beach because there was a place called Brightwater Towers. And I was a youth director of B'nai B'rit in Brightwater Towers. And this guy, Marty Rosenblatt, was the board of directors of Seabreeze Jewish Center with me. So I was a youth director of his organization, B'nai B'rit. And I put programs, and Baruch Hashem, they had Kahani come there, meet once a month, once in 2 weeks, whatever he wanted. So we met there in Brightwater Towers.
Meir Kahana came to meet with you in Brightwater Towers?
Kahani came to speak sometimes, and other top people came to speak, and it was good. Like I honored a dozen teachers from the Board of Education. And I showed a plaque. I get done with 18 teachers I honored.
Please, all I got here, I got the Russian thing. If we got the...
Back of his English. Back of it's English.
No, it's also Russian. Hold on. I'd like to read the parts of that letter from Meir Kahana, which I don't have here.
Take your time.
So Rabbi Meir Kahana, in the summer of 1984,
What paper was that?
this is the Jewish Press. He wrote a letter published in the Jewish Press. He used to write for the Jewish Press. Greetings from Rabbi Meir Kahana, Beth Shifra, which was your organization. I'm just going to read. He extols you in all kinds of different ways and he talks about you. But the most important thing he says here, with no funding for government or any group, Chaim Prussman manages through sacrifice and God's help to give help to the poor Jews. And then he says, with meals and gifts and monies, he talks about how the missionaries destroyed Jewish souls. That was very big back there. There are synagogues and organizations and rabbis and leaders, but no one stood up to cry out and do except a little Jew named Chaim Prussman. And it says the only traditional Talmud Torah and nursery school programs offered free to underprivileged families, including transportation.
The other programs.
Special religious classes held in local public high schools. Free bar mitzvah lessons. Assistance for bar mitzvah celebrations, Shabbaton activities, trips and rallies celebrating Jewish holidays. And it says here, without your generous support, Beth Shifra cannot compete with the chicken dinners and breakfasts of the missionaries. Chaim Prussman is the kind of Jew for whom I stand daily and salute. I urge you to stand, salute, and then sit and write a check. Make it out to Beth Shifra and save a Jew. And then in the great synagogue of heaven, you may, as a reward, sit close to Chaim Prussman at the east wall. Beth Shifra, a monument to simple greatness, supported today by Rabbi Meir Kahana.
The other programs, read the bottom.
What?
The bottom.
So these are the programs that list here in the page. So this is the...
No, read it.
Okay, I'm going to read it here. These are the programs Beth Shifra ran. This is totally separate. He's just talking. Separate Orthodox Boy Scout and Girl Scout Club, matchmaking, trips and rallies, free legal advice, Jewish films, Jewish history classes, job placement, karate, CSW on premises. What is CSW?
That's me, Certified Social Work on Community Organization.
Okay.
That's me.
Business school, Brissim Performed, Speakers Bureau, free Hebrew school, free summer camps, nursery schools, Jewish services, boxing,
That's me.
high school programs in public schools, chess tournament, free bar mitzvahs, several English classes, green cards, work release programs, release hours, a free flea market, and a homeless shelter, all in that one Beth Shifra building.
Two buildings, the bank building and it was the yeshiva.
And yeshiva, two together.
Yes.
The 3044 Coney Island Avenue. Now, you also met with Rabbi Gifter. Can I mention about that? Hold on, let me get the picture of Rabbi Gifter. So tell us about how you met with Rabbi Mordechai Gifter.
Rabbi Gifter was in Florida with his son-in-law. And I had the pleasure of walking with him and talking to him. And because his son-in-law was supposed to open up a Pesach thing for me, all supplied by Weberman. His son is a caterer. It's gone back many years ago, and he invited me to Cleveland to stay with him for a while.
You went to Cleveland to Telz Yeshiva?
Yeah, I went to
You
see-
stayed with Rabbi Gifter?
Yeah.
In whose house did you stay in?
In his house.
You stayed in Rabbi Pressman.
Yeah.
You stayed in the house of Rabbi Mordechai Gifter.
I was involved with the son-in-law. I was involved with Rabbi Gifter. He was a tzaddik. He was a chavrusa, Rabbi Victor Miller.
And he was also, that's the Telz Yeshiva. So you were at the Telz Yeshiva in Cleveland.
Yeah, and now he was a tzaddik, number one. I prayed for him too, for God Eden. And I ran many programs. I ran programs for.
So why did Rabbi Mordechai Gifter want you to stay within the Telz?
Because he knew I was a mensch. He knew from Rabbi Victor Miller, and Rabbi Miller probably told him I'm a mensch because I got involved with Rabbi Miller, And I used to go to his shiurs on Yom Hamishi. He gave me permission at the end of the shiur to say a few words. He Victor Miller, when I came
You
to
gave where did you say a few words? Which year?
I gave him Rabbi Miller's shiur. When he finished the shiur, he invited me over to say something for a couple of minutes, which I did because that evening there was a missionary rally on 67th Street and 14th and 15th Avenue, right in the heart of Borough Park.
Okay.
So he gave me permission because by the time his shiur was over, they're over at 10:30, 11 o'clock. So I did what I did. And the Miller gave me people, and which was Baruch Hashem, he gave me the cover to speak, and I did. And we went there. And it was unbelievable. There was one big rabbi from Sharon.
Oh, Rabbi Avram Hecht at that time? Who was the rabbi there?
The Sephardic Rabbi Kassin.
Kassin.
I called Rabbi Kassin. I was involved in 1982. My mother was nifta, so I had to go to early minyan. So I went to Sharon early minyan, and I had the courtesy to meet Rabbi Abraham Hecht, Rabbi Kassin, and another rabbi, another Sephardic rabbi.
Who's the other guy?
Not a Sephardic rabbi there. I used to go to
Chacham Baruch.
Baruch. He was a tzaddik. He gave me his time. He was a tzaddik.
You met with Chacham Baruch.
I met him all. And I called up Rabbi Kassin. I asked him if he could come with me. I pick him up because he knew me already from the yeshiva, from the shul. So I picked up Rabbi Kassin. And I took him to this missionary house on 67th Street and 14th and 15th Avenue. He didn't know where I'm taking him. I took him. That place was filled up. And there was a class downstairs teaching young little kids. So the parents dropped the kids off the classes and they went up to hear the lecture. And the person who was giving the lecture was a woman. She was no different than Rebbetzin Youngright, but almost dynamic like her.
But she was.
And she gave the class, and the people were spellbound.
But they were missionaries.
Missionaries, and Rabbi Kassin was there with his hat, with his suit, and they looked at him. They said, "We'll give you anything. We take you to the water, and we're going to put you in the water and baptize you." Rabbi Kassin went bananas. He said, "I can't, no." And we went downstairs. There was a man in the late 40s, 50s. He was there. I took his name. I took his phone number. And I took Kassin home. He never forgot that. I said, this whole place are all missionaries. And the majority of people were Jewish over there. That was Rabbi Kassin. He went there as a surprise to show him what missionaries do. So that young man I picked up in the late 40s, bar mitzvahed him in the Bacarian Shul in Borough Park. I think it's on 13th Avenue, between 13th and 14th Avenue in the 40s. I bar mitzvahed him, and I've been doing that. That was Rabbi Kassin. Rabbi Baruch gives me his time, and he was good. And Rabbi Abraham Hecht let me speak in the Shul on Shabbos.
In Shari Zion.
Let me come to Shabbos. I'm a member of Rabbinical Alliance of America. And at the end, Rabbi Hecht was sick. And he went to this place where the Rabbinical Alliance met the meetings to give Rabbi Abraham Hecht the covet to come there. So who came there? The head of the Sephardic rabbi from Israel.
Who Chacham Avadia Yosef? Or
The top rabbi from Sephardic came.
Who is it? Avadia Yosef?
I believe, one of the top guys, I don't know if it's him or not, I forgot the name. So he came, he said, you have to forgive us, and you have to marshal us, and we made a mistake. And a few months later, he was nifta. So
What was the mistake he's talking about?
You used to meet at his shorefront nursery home where Rabbi Abraham Hecht was there. Our meetings were there for many, many, many months. I remember there, and we met over there for many months. And just to give Rabbi Abraham Hecht the covet that would come to respect him. That was good. And that was Rabbi Hecht. And I got involved with J.J. Hecht from from the release programs years ago. He was the translator for the Rebbe. So I got involved with the Heck family. I used to get a Louvain Eshrol by his brother from Coney Island Avenue. He had a shul, MUI on Coney Island Avenue. He had a storefront. So with the Heck family, I got involved, and it was good. And another thing I was interested, I did, the Russian community came in here, I was on the board of directors of these buildings. And the people didn't want any other people coming in here, and there were no Russian people in them years. So I publicized it, opening up the list. I publicized this in Diana and all the Jewish community councils. Why? Because I was the vice president of the Jewish Community Council under Rabbi Pikus.
You were the vice president?
Yeah, under Rabbi Pikus. So I let all the Jewish community councils, the whole city know about that we're opening up the list.
What list are you talking about?
List to come into the building here.
Oh, come to the building, department.
So there was people lined up by the mile. I supplied them with water, refreshments, I had people working with me, and it made it more comfortable for them. And Baruch Hashem, the development is mostly Russian Jews, which I was involved in because I was on the board of directors. And I found that out, and this guy from Luna Park was Zarimba. His kid went to my school. He was vice president of Luna Park. I asked him to do the same thing. They're opening up, this is called Mitchell Lama. They're opening up the building for Mitchell Lama, and he said he'll do the same thing. So because of him, many Russians came into Luna Park. Because I spread this to the Jewish community councils, the Nayana, all these things, which we did. So Baruch Hashem, majority of these are mostly Russian Jews.
And these Russian Jews got involved in your program at the Beth Shifra building on Coney Island Avenue?
Yeah, we ran many programs in Beth Shifra, you read, yeah?
Yeah.
And it was interesting. Then I did something very extraordinary. Missionaries were running classes for Russians to learn to get the green card. So I ran over a dozen programs for Russians, get the green card. I got involved, I ran Pesach in Trump Village. All at the same time, I ran it in Wabash and Luna Park. In Luna Park, there was an old-time rabbi. My daughter used to invite women who she met on the benches on Ocean Parkway to come to my house on Shabbos. So I used to have several women coming to my house on Shabbos.
Over here?
My house here, right over here, for Shabbos. Several women used to come here for Shabbos. So I had an old-time rabbi coming here every Shabbos because he had nobody. So what did I do? One woman wanted me, but I'm a Kohen. And make a long story short, I gave him to this old-time rabbi. And it's the best 10 years this rabbi ever had in his life.
Now, did you bring these Russian people?
And I ran Pesach in Luna Park, and this rabbi and his wife took over the services.
Was that before you had the Beth Shifra building?
It's all the same time.
Now, okay.
Everything was the same time.
Now, who'd you get? Okay, so you have all this food. You're running Seders.
I had Rabbi in Luna Park. I had Mush Pines and Nowell Nipman doing Trump Village here.
Yeah.
I had Rabbi Kaddish. He laid the Torah in Wabash. I gave him $100. He did. When I had a soup kitchen, his kid went to my school.
Where was your soup kitchen? Was at Beth Shifra building, right?
Up to the avenue.
Okay, so who? Okay, so let me ask you a question. You're running all these food programs, Seders, and at the Beth Shifra building on 304 Coney Island, you had lots of food there. Who gave the food? How'd you get food there?
We went to the meat market, went to the fish market. We went to all these places to get the stuff. We went to Kenem Wine, we got the grape juice. I paid. They want a certified check before I could pick up the wine. Which Kenem Wine was good people. They said there was Herzl was a tzaddik.
I remember your Seders because I used to attend them myself at Beth Shifra.
And
3044.
We did something very unique, and it was amazing. I had a program in Wabash, a teenage program, and the rabbi was over there was Wall. He put a guy called Mike Goldstein to watch the place because he didn't want the place to be wrecked up.
What, there was a shul they had in what house?
With the shul Wall in Wabash, Rabbi Wall. Wall's an old-time rabbi, worked for the Federation, maybe close to 90 at that time. Make a long story short, he had this guy, Mush Goldstein. Mush Goldstein was a short man with problems with a leg and an arm. And he said, I'm very depressed, Rabbi Prussman, because I have nobody but myself after 4 walls. I put ad in the Jewish press, slightly handicapped man looking for marriage-minded woman. I chaperoned him to many places. I put in my house a smorgasbord for women to come to see him. Nobody wanted Moshe Goldstein. He laid the Torah superb. He was good. He was a mensch. So I got one of my teachers, Shmuel Adler. Shmuel Adler's father was Nifta. They had a bicycle store in Williamsburg. So I got Shmuel, I got a guy who was a tzaddik. He laid the Torah well. He's looking to meet somebody. So my mother is available. So I made a match. I made my home like a Shabbos Kiddush. I gave them whatever they wanted. I broke Hashem one time, maybe a couple months later, I see all these religious people coming to Wabas, social hall, and he married this woman.
In the social hall of Wabas.
Sadie goes, all these Hasidic people came in down to look at it, and Shmuel Adler worked for me in the 70s. He was a tzaddik. He worked for me in the 70s, and this was the best years of Moshe Goldstein's life. And I asked his brother if he could help his son, who worked for me, Shmuel Adler. And he was very wealthy. He didn't want to help. I don't know why or not. I helped. I helped the best of my ability, because he had a big family. He didn't make no panasa. So he worked for me. So I tried to give as much as he can, and I did, and he worked for me for many, many years. His name was Shmuel Adler. He was a tzaddik. And his mother, Sadie Goldstein, married him. And that was the best year that he had in his life. And he got worse many years later, and the Sadie used to travel with him with a wheelchair on a constant basis. The Jews sent him to Brighton Beach for a different minion. And it was the best years of his life.
So tell me about Rabbi Aaron Kopelovich.
Rabbi Kopelovich was in Beth Shifra.
He had the Shabbos minion.
Yeah, he was there, and they chose me over a lot of people for the building.
So you ran the building, but he had the Shabbos minion.
Yeah, I let him have it. The person before me wanted me to get rid of everybody in that building.
So
With the help of Rabbi Victor Miller and myself, we let everyone be there. And we encourage other people to come there to use the facilities for negative. We never charged a penny for anybody. I ran karate classes there with Gary Moskowitz. And there was a guy called Eric Goodman. He did his thesis on Rabbi Meir Kahane. And he was a black belt in karate. And he lived in the next building. And I had a heavy schedule. And he worked with me for a year and a half, 2 years to teach me karate at my convenience, because I had no time to do anything. So he did it. Was a mitzvah, and I gave him what he really wanted. And he taught me karate for a year and a half, number one. Number two, he wanted to get a Jewish girl the worst way. And I found out, guy who had the black belt, many Jewish girls don't go for a guy with karate. So what happened? He got married, I think it was in Solomon Simpson's shul, converted a girl who was Japanese. And he married her, and they have Jewish kids now. Because she became Jewish. And this was Eric Goodman. He taught me karate for a while.
Tell me more about Rabbi Aaron Kopelovich. Did you speak with him on many occasions?
No, I had no time.
But you let him use it on Shabbos.
I was overwhelmed. I went to different shul on Shabbos, basically.
But he handled things on Shabbos.
And there was another guy I got involved. I let him, and I had a soup kitchen 7 days a week, 3 meals a day. Because the missionaries had the same
On
thing.
Shabbos, you also had the soup kitchen going?
On Shabbos, it varied. It varied.
I remember on Friday nights you used to have stuff.
Everything. I opened up 7 days a week, 3 meals a day.
If I remember, please correct me, you started out on having Seders, and it was just the Seder nights, and then you opened it up for the whole Pesach, all 7 days, all 8 days of Pesach.
in many locations.
So, but when you first had it at the Beth Shifra building
I
at
had it,
3044,
I added a Solomon Simpson shoe, number one.
Yeah.
I have another story to tell you. Which is
but you also had it at 3044, right?
yeah,
Now, but you opened it up all 7 days.
8 days.
8 days. I mean, all 8 days you had Pesach food for
8 days.
people.
I lined up with people. I gave them food, like whatever they wanted. I never refused anybody.
But it started out just as a Sedorim, and then you opened it up.
Rabbi Solomon Simpson.
Yeah.
We catered by Melrose.
Right. Melrose also brought the food to 3044 for Coney Island Avenue?
No, I paid him. I catered by Melrose in the beginning,
Yeah.
and that was a lot of money. So after that, after the first 2 years, I did it myself. I had Greenwald Caterers, the main caterer, catering for me. So I opened up several places. I opened in Trump Village, in Wabash, Luna Park. I opened the May Yeshiva. I opened Chaim Prussman Elementary School. I opened up in Borough Park. There's a rabbi here you got to see. 2 rabbis got involved with me. Rabbi Savi, he came.
Hold on, you got. Let me hold the picture.
Rabbi Savi. Another rabbi got involved with me. That's me. Rabbi Savi came here several years. There was a boarding house in Borough Park run by Rabbi Eichenthal and his Rebbitzin, yeah? And I rented the whole floor by them, that boarding house. I opened a Pesach in Borough Park on 46th Street in 60th Avenue. And the boarding house was on 60th Avenue, like 48th Street, 47, like a block and a half walk. It was convenient. I rented the whole floor. He came for 7 years, show the picture again. He came 7 years, this guy, Rabbi, and I let him sleep there. He brought people there, which is my pleasure. I housed them. I put my cooks there, my maintenance worker there, and we opened 8 days in Borough Park.
That was in Borough Park. At the same
And
time,
at the same time, I opened up 12th Avenue and 48th Street.
Rabbi, this is the same time you had 8 days on Coney Island and Neptune.
Yes.
So you had that going as your main branch, and all those others were also going to the same place. That's an incredible work of art to do that.
Everything was
logistically.
same as all these buildings. Everything was prepared. The food was prepared. I brought it up 2 hours before Pesach, and they had all cooked food, and they had Pesach there. In Luna Park, Trump Village, Wabash, all prepared. Then I opened in Manhattan, 8th Street Synagogue for the whole 8 days. I gave them all day
What
work.
about sukkahs?
Sukkahs had a big sukkah. Sukkahs.
You had a sukkah. I remember you built a big sukkah on Neptune
It
Avenue.
was the biggest sukkah you ever find.
Neptune and Coney Island Avenue.
That could hold 50 cars, and I put a big sukkah.
It was in the parking lot, right next to Beth Shifra
in
building.
the parking lot, outside in the parking
Where?
lot. I took all the cars out. I made one of the biggest sukkahs you could find, and
Let's see. The entrance was on Neptune Avenue, right? Right to the left of Coney Island Avenue. That was the entrance to the sukkah.
yeah.
So
And I opened up many places. I opened up 8 days.
So tell me. Let's first concentrate on the main place. So you had the sukkah
That
there.
trip for 8 days. I had it.
So what else did you have? Activities there, singing.
You read the programs.
Okay, matchmaking, trips and rallies, free legal advice,
Boy
Jewish
Scouts.
film- What?
Boy Scouts.
Yeah, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, Jewish history classes, job placement, karate, CSW on premises, business school, Brissi and Perform, Speakers Bureau, free Hebrew school, free summer camps, nursery schools, Jewish services, boxing, high school programs at public schools, chess tournament, free bar mitzvahs, several English classes, green cards, work release programs, release hours, free flea market, homeless shelter.
Okay. The many things I have to tell you. Okay. We reach out. That's our destination. We reach out to Jewish people who need help. One time, there's a young man wrote a letter to me. And he says, I'm stuck in jail upstate. And he wrote this letter to me. And he says, I'm in jail. They put me in jail. And after I took him out, he wrote a letter. The guy called Shimel. Shimel said, I write to all these people, nobody does nothing. I'm a religious guy, I'm in jail. So the person I made a match with, remember in Lubavitch?
Yeah.
He knows him. I said, could you count on me to get him out of jail? He said, I don't want to lose money. So I said, I'll give you $100. He came with me to upstate, and I went to court with him, and we told the judge, we arranged it that day we have the court case here, that he's a Sabbath observer. You can make a fire Monday to Friday, but not on Shabbos. And he vouched, this guy vouched, I'm religious, and he's a Sabbath observer, and we took him out. And he wrote a letter after that. You can read the letter he wrote. It's big writings.
An open letter to my Jewish brethren. My name is Don Levi Stimmel, an observant Jew who has spent the past few months in an upstate prison under horrible conditions. I was without kosher food, religious articles, basic necessities, and always under the constant fear of being attacked by other inmates. Several months ago, the New York State Police falsely accused and arrested me for arson, a fire which took place on Shabbos, of which I had nothing to do with. I then wrote to Rabbi Chaim Prussman of Beth Shifra in Bright Beach, who is well known for his love for a fellow Jew. He immediately responded by contacting lawyers, the district attorney's office, prison officials, etc. He also visited me in prison and brought me food and clothing. To make a long story short, I am now a free man, back to learning in the Lakewood Kolala Borough Park, and have been set up with living quarters at Beth Shifra. All thanks to Reb Chaim Prussman with the help of Hashem. Besides the great amount of time and effort this cost Reb Chaim, an enormous monetary cost was also involved. I am not the only one that has benefited by Reb Chaim's good deeds. Hundreds of helpless, homeless, and underprivileged individuals have been helped in every way by Beth Shifra, but hundreds more are waiting to be helped. Beth Shifra cannot continue assisting the needy like myself without your support. Don Levi Stimmel, care of Beth Shifra. Brooklyn, New York, 11235.
There was many other people involved with the organization. And there was a guy called...
I want to talk about that letter.
The guy called Abramowitz, Carmen Abramowitz. He was the shamus of Jews at the Brighton Beach. He was my bar mitzvah teacher. He bar mitzvahed my son, Ariel. He was a professional laying the Torah at the Jewish Center in Brighton Beach. But they paid him nothing. He lived in Brighton Beach. And one time, his kids go to Neresh Yisrael in Baltimore. And I got involved with Rabbi Ruderman. After him, Rabbi Weinberg, to help the family get a scholarship. So one time, his son came from Baltimore. He had a fight with next door neighbor. At that time, I got him a job at a different price on the Avenue Z. He became the gabbai laying the Torah in that Avenue Z with Maxie Rubenstein on the Avenue Z. Maxie was involved with politicians. What happened? He helped his son on a fight, and the guy called the cops and put him in jail. Maxie said, "Don't worry, I will help you." His wife controlled him completely, 100%. One day on Yom Kippur, before this all happened, the woman comes over to me, "I'm sick, I don't feel good." I say, I go to the hospital. He said, "No, Yom Kippur." I said, "I'm a rabbi, I'm telling you what to do." Didn't know anything about it. She went in the cab. I went around the corner, about $10 on Yom Kippur. I gave it to the cab driver, take her to the hospital if she wants. On Marav, they make an announcement that the rabbi's wife gave birth that day.
Mazel tov, mazel tov.
She wouldn't have gone if I didn't borrow $10 from the store around the corner, which I dealt previously with, and she got a baby. So what happened with Abramowitz? I had a job for him in Rabbi Halpern's shul at Flatbush Park Jewish Center. And they would give him the housing and everything. And his wife convinced him not to take it. It's the best job in the world, big money, big everything. The wife says no. His wife controlled him 100%. So, at the story I told you, when he went, after later on, when he went to jail with finding a neighbor, yeah, and Max Rubin says, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it because I know people. He was the president of that shul. He was also the president of the Jewish National Fund, which I used to go to meetings in Jewish Center, Brighton Beach. She went Aliyah to Israel with him, with his babies. And that was Carmen Abramowitz. He was my Mr. Teacher. He was a mensch. That's one story with him. I needed a maintenance guy, a Beth Shifra.
You're talking about at the 3044 building, a maintenance guy.
I
Okay.
needed a maintenance guy in Beth Shifra. So one guy applied for the job, tall guy, strong guy. And I asked him his reference. He says, I'd be honest with you, I spent 25 years in jail. I killed people when I was young. Our brothers died, we were in gangs, in Hell's Kitchen. Sat down with him. I hired him. How many guys hire a guy who was in jail 25 years? As a social worker, clinical in my field, I know who I'm talking to, who I see. I hired him. He used to go with me to missionary places. He was strong, he was tall, and not many Jews would go with me. That era, Jews weren't tough. I hired him, and he worked for me. And eventually he moved out, he got his own apartment.
What about Jerry Eisenberg? Tell us about Jerry Eisenberg.
Jerry Eisenberg was involved with JDL. Jerry Eisenberg was a friend of mine. Jerry Eisenberg worked out of the Hebrew Alliance for JDL.
Hold on, Hebrew Alliance, that was
Rabbi Scheinberg,
What about Rabbi Hollander?
that's later on.
Okay.
He worked there for JDL. And he accumulated many bills, high bills. And he had an argument with JDL. They wouldn't take care of it. And he wasn't rich. So he started an outfit called Jacob,
What did it stand for?
Jewish Athletic Club of Brooklyn. I was involved with Jacob. And he needed a place to go. He had no place to stay. I got a place on Ocean near Seabreeze, the corner of Seabreeze, a block away, a landlord who had a whole storefront. I asked him we could guard synagogue. That was his main thing. When Shammah says, forget to close the window, close the door, we'll guard it. So we used to do calisthenics by Seabreeze Park. And Jerry Eisenberg was a tzaddik. He was a good guy.
So
Why I say this? Meir Kahane, other rabbis who were involved with, told me Jimmy Carter is no friend of Israel. He kept hostages there in Iran over 444 days. He said, we have to open places for Reagan. This community was run by Sam Horowitz. This area was 90 to 95% Democrat.
Sam Horowitz was a councilman, right?
He ran he was powerful. He ran the place. It was Democrat. The whole community was Democrat. Before the Russians moved in there, it was Democrat. So we rented in front of a kosher butcher on 6th Street, big tall guy. He rented outside his place. And we had mostly Stanley Shumsky involved, Jerry Eisenberg involved, and many JDL guys involved, and Beth Shifra people involved, and some Jewish veterans involved, military veterans involved, manning this place. So what the guy sees, the literature we have, the big tall guy over 6'1", 6'2", he says, you get the F out of here. Stanley Shumsky was the last shul survived young Israel, Coney Island, the last shul, and the last Jewish guy in that neighborhood.
That was the young Israel of
Coney Island.
Coney Island.
And he goes over to the guy, can I speak to you for a moment? He said, yes. He takes his blackjack out. He said, either you would be handicapped for life or we stay here. Baruch Hashem, we stayed here. And we changed the vote. I went into Luna Park, went to Trump Village, Wabash. We combed the whole community. And we put this out for Reagan, because we figured Reagan would help Jews out of Russia, through Gorbachev eventually. And my rabbis told me, do it. I don't do nothing without rabbis' halachas, advice, or permission. And he told me, do it.
Who told you? Rabbi Miller?
Many rabbis. I don't want to mention names. Many big rabbis.
Okay.
For political view, I can't say that.
Okay.
Because many organizations get help from the Democrats.
Right.
If I mention these names, maybe they'll stop giving help.
Yeah,
So I don't
I
want to
understand.
mention
Sure,
the
I
names.
understand.
The county was nipped in 1990, so nobody could do nothing. I was involved with the county at the end, but they closed us down in the early 90s. Mossad and FBI got involved. We had a place on Coney Island Avenue by Avenue H, and they closed us down. They took all the books, all the records out of the place, and they closed it down.
What kind of place was it?
We was a place where we had a main office for JDL. A person ran it. And we had a Gazlovsky.
Michael Gazovsky.
He ran that place.
Michael Gazovsky.
Okay. And we had the last hurrah for JDL. All the original guys went to La Chateau before they closed. And we had a dinner honoring the original guys. Maybe with 25 up there, 20, 25. And it was Stanley Shumsky,
Yeah.
Alex Steinberg,
Yeah.
and Prussman,
Yeah.
and other guys too. And that was the last hurrah for JDL. And I ran karate on a steady basis. Beth Shifra. I ran men's class, women's class with Gary Moskowitz. The guy who taught me, Eric Goodman. He taught me,
This was all at 3044 Coney Island Avenue.
yeah, I ran karate class, a women's karate class by Miss Lewis. The father would help me as a dentist. He checked the Russian people's teeth for nothing.
What about Jewish classes?
I had this guy, Joe Michaels. He was a lawyer.
Yeah.
He gave his service for free.
I remember Joel Michaels, Luna Park.
Joe Michaels was a mensch. He had a guy called Yoel Gold. Yoel Gold worked for me. Good guy. He worked for me. He had a place to stay. Make a long story short, his mother was very tough. His father was very easy. His father picked up after him. So he had to get psychiatric help. He had to go to Long Island. He had 2 buses, 2 trains, all that stuff. And this guy can't make it. I volunteered to take him once or twice a week to get his medication. He has certain medication. I did that for a mitzvah, because nobody would take him. His mother died. His father died. Joe Michaels lived on the same floor he lived. Joe Michaels had a problem, medical problem. He had to move out to get a terrace in the building in Wabass. This was the first building on Ocean Parkway. And he declined very much. He used to give his time to Ben Leo. He had a yeshiva on Ocean Parkway. And he committed suicide.
Who did?
Yoel Gold.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear
Because
that.
he had nobody. Joe Michaels moved away from, he had Joe Michaels. Joe Michaels took him to Israel. Joe Michaels was a good guy. I got involved with Joe Michaels. I helped him. He came to Beth Shifra. I gave him food if he wanted, whatever he wanted, I gave him.
So if you had food at 3044 anytime? 3044
I was
Coney Island
open
Avenue.
7 days a week, 3 meals a day. I ran Pesach Seders over there and everything. Open the whole 8 days there, Pesach. I ran it, and you say, I ran a big sukkah. It was so big, it ain't funny. There was another story occurred. There was a family called Berman. Give you the name, I'm honest. A mitzvah the family. They had a flea market outside Beth Shifra, and he saw his mother kissing a stranger. He goes over to the father. He said, Daddy, Mommy's kissing somebody. Father goes there. He's a Navy man, yeah. He goes there. Is that true? He said, yes. What, you want me to move out? Yes. So he brought a guy in 10 years younger, but it's free for the 4 kids. Jay got depressed. Jay was that time, maybe 14, 15 years old. He winds up in a psychiatric ward. Jay. Then the father gets sick. Jay's the oldest son. He has the priority over anybody else what to do with the father. I get a call from his brother Craig, that my brother wants to cremate my father. In Jewish religion, we don't believe in cremation. So I went with Doug. We took the body out of the hospital, and we got Hebrew Burial Society. Free Hebrew burial, but it's not free. I pay the money. They charge. But we buried him. Jay gets very angry. He said, I'm going to get you, I'm going to hurt you, I'm going to do everything to you. I get a call 2 years later from Jay that he got married. He wants mezuzahs on the door in Borough Park. So what I do, I supply the house with mezuzahs, and the wife says to give him the money. Jay said, don't worry about it, he'll take care of it. He always does. So I didn't get nothing from Jay. So Jay moved to Borough Park with mezuzahs, which was good. I was happy.